Hey everyone, what's up? Got a lot of new subscribers since the last video I did, so just want to say thank you to the newcomers. But I'm out here today. I'm washing the car, underneath of it, really just pressure washing it before I start taking the fuel system apart and making the new fuel lines and everything else to go to alcohol. I ran twice since my last video. The first time I didn't record anything, but didn't miss anything. I went out first round. It was a 7-0 no prep race, and so what I normally try to do at those no prep races is I try to do a burnout a little bit past the starting line. So after I backed up on my delay box, it's a K&R delay box, I didn't reset the trans brake lockout. So when I went to go stage and hit the button, it was still in the trans brake lockout time. So basically I stabbed it from an idle and the car took off and went through the beams. So and then I raced a couple days ago at still 7-0, and I'll show you that later in the video. But for right now, like I said, going to wash underneath it, just get it a little bit cleaner than what it is. It's not awful, but it could be better. So I'm gonna get started on that and let you see how I do things. Alright, so before I get started washing anything, I always cover up the distributor, the coil, and the alternator, and then of course the carburetor. Just what we did back when we raced dirt, so I bring that over to this. Like I said, it's not too bad, but it's got some dust on it. So, but mainly I just want to clean the rear of the car, where obviously you got all this rubber everywhere, and I don't want all that falling down on me when I'm working on it for the next however long it takes to do the fuel system. Shouldn't be real bad, but just like to stay clean if I can help it. But anyway, so I'm gonna get started on pressure washing it. I'm gonna spray it down first, then I'll spray everything with Simple Green and that little bug sprayer, and then get it back down cleaned again with the pressure washer. So yeah, got a little surprise for you at the end of the video. I've been waiting on this for about 3 weeks, and it came in. So I'll get let me finish up on this, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so it's been a few days since I recorded, but basically now I'm at the point where I'm ready to start swapping everything over to alcohol. The only dilemma is I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do a belt driven pump or if I'm going to do an electric pump. I'd kind of like to do the electric pump, but in a way I think both of them are going to be a little bit more work than I was expecting, and then expense wise it's probably going to come out the same. The electric pump would probably be cheaper, but I'm still going to have to do things a little bit different than I was planning on, and let me show you why. Alright, so the original plan was to do a Holly black pump and put it exactly where I got it, since I know that way will work. I'm not sure if the Holly black would be enough fuel pump though, so I think I'm going for sure, like I said, a Magna Fuel 500 or like a APD belt driven pump. The problem is if I try to put one of those big Magna Fuel 500s on it, and I want to leave everything where it's at, the only good place I can see to mount it would be about right there on the frame rail. Well, the only problem with that is it's going to be sticking right beside the tire basically. So I would have to make maybe like a little piece of Lexan or some sort of shield out of steel, something like that, to help protect it from rocks and all that. So, and it'll probably look like crap. So really the only option I have if I do that is move the fuel pump over. I mean, not the fuel pump, the fuel cell over. I'll have to cut this hole in the trunk pin over on this side, move it over, that way I can have more room over here to do a bracket and mount it, or either move it that way since all that wiring is right there, and then have the pump right here. Or my other option is to try and redo this whole floor pan. Let me get up here. Redo this whole floor pan. So take the cell out, cut a piece, a little piece of thin gauge steel, try to like tack weld it all the way around, and then mount the cell and the pump on the top of the trunk, and then have the lines coming out, drill a hole back through here, have the lines go through the trunk, and then back down the frame rail, kind of like I've got it. Or something I could do is maybe try to mount the cell up higher, and then maybe cut a hole, two round holes in the trunk pan, or one round hole for the pump to kind of stick up a little bit. That way it's not hanging so far down below the trunk pan. So that's what it's going to take to do an electric pump. Or I could do a mechanical belt driven pump up front, but I think you have to have the cell up front on those. And if that's the case, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to cut a hole in the hood to have a little access panel like what's on the trunk. Have that on the hood and fuel it up. So then I'd have to take the hood off every time I'd want to fuel the car up. That's just not really sensible, logical, And I'm not really sure if I guess I got room to mount it on either side of this left front or the front frame rails, but I just don't really know that I won't want the fuel up at the front of the car, because my theory on that is if you have a collision of some sort, and you got a fuel cell within a couple feet, or not even a couple feet, within a foot of, headers or anything else that's hot, you kind of know what's going to happen there. And other thing too, car's already nose heavy as it is, so that's another reason why I'd like to keep the cell in the back of the car. I need all the weight back here I can get, but something I was thinking about, if I did do a belt driven pump and put the cell up front, it would leave me these two pieces of square tubing that these straps bolt to. I could mount weight back here going across this way, or yeah, it'd have to be across this way, front and rear. So that is an option, and that'd help cover up this hole back here. So I don't know, I just got a little bit more I guess thinking to do about it, see which one I want to do, what's going to be cheaper, and also what's going to be probably less work, whatever's going to be easiest. So I'll just have to think about that. But before I end this video, I got one more thing I want to show you. Alright, so here it is. Finally got the carburetor in. It's a 750. It's got 154 jets in it, squared up. It's got 64 and 32. Yeah, air bleeds. And it's really, really nice. Everything's CNC'd, it looks like. It's got these screws to drain the float bowls out. 60 squirters in it. Like I said, it's really, really nice. It's worth the money just for the looks, but I'm sure it's gonna perform really well. So I will be trying to get that on here pretty soon. I'm not going back out to the track until I've got the car swapped over to alcohol, at the very least. Just kind of done struggling when I go to the track to try and find consistency. So other thing too, I've got Viking double adjustable shocks ordered. I've got 10-inch springs on the front, 350-pound springs. The rear is 12-inch springs, and they're 130 spring rate. We're going with a taller spring. It's going to be 11-inch, and it's going to be 100 pounds lighter, so 250. That'll get I'll give the front end more stored energy. That way when we take off, it'll help transfer that weight and help the car pitch rotate. And then the rear springs also going softer, going down to 110s. And the cool thing about these shocks is that you can adjust the rebound by just changing out. It's like a little Schrader valve. It's like $20 to do 2 shocks if I want to change the valving in it. So that's pretty cool. That gives me even more adjustability there. But they seem like they're a really good company. They really take the time with you on the phone to figure out what's going to be best for you. They'll let you ask any question you got, and they'll give you some feedback on it. I called a couple different shock companies or shock services, and for the ones that did pick up the phone or return my call, they just didn't seem like they were too terribly interested in getting something for my car specifically. They just wanted to get me an off-the-shelf shock and get off the phone. So Viking was the first one that, like I said, it seemed like they really wanted to help. And so that had me sold right there. So I got that, and like I said, hopefully I'll figure out this fuel situation pretty soon. I'm trying to do it on a budget, but you know, when you've spent that kind of money on the carburetor, you know, you don't want to skimp out on the pump and everything else. I mean, mainly the pump. So I'll try to get that situated, and hopefully it won't be a big deal and it won't take too long. And that way I can have that done, and hopefully when I get that done, the shocks will come in. That way I can go ahead and get it on the car, get the ride height where I want it. And I'm probably going to put the car on the scales when I put the shocks back on it, just to try and get all the you know, corner weights back and weight percentages, and you know, just make sure I've got everything close. That way when I go out there, I don't have to worry about it not going straight. I can just work on, you know, weight transfer. So I'm gonna try and, I mean, you know, in a way I kind of want to go out there with the car on alcohol and new shocks all at once, but on the other hand, I should probably, you know, probably make 2 trips out of it, get it on alcohol, go to the track, get it close, and then when I go back out, you know, put the shocks on it and then get those dialed in. So I guess I need to wrap this up. This camera's got a mind of its own, but my thinking was, if I go test the car just on alcohol, you know, it's going to be making more torque, obviously, so it's going to hit the shock different, so I might have traction issues then. But it's cooled down enough now at this time of the year that traction's not really an issue like it was a month and a half ago. So anyway, I'm going to, like I said, figure out what I need to do to get this thing swapped over on alcohol, do it once, do it right, not ever worry about it again. And then hopefully, like I said, shocks will come in and we'll go take it to the track and get all that dialed in, and then hopefully hit a few big races towards the end of the year. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.